Welcome back to Talking Racine, and tonight we got a good subject for you. I'm Dr. Ken Jorgen, your host. This is Mr. George Myers and Mr. Jim Spodek, our producer. And tonight we're going to talk about the Redevelopment Authority. This is a group of 7 people appointed by the mayor to spend millions of dollars on your behalf. They're not elected, and I think you should know who they are and what their qualifications are to make these decisions on your behalf. What do you think, guys? That sound
ready.
All right.
Like a good plan. Yeah.
Who's first up here, Jim?
Today it's Robert Anderson.
Robert Anderson. Yeah,
He's on the Redevelopment Authority.
What's his background?
He used to be an alderman.
He was an alderman at one time, right? I believe it was the 2nd District. He was appointed by, I believe, the mayor.
I think they all are, right?
They all are.
Yeah.
But I
He wasn't
believe,
appointed as alderman by the mayor.
no, but he was appointed by the RDA by the mayor,
Yeah,
and I believe
yeah,
it was John
yeah,
Dickert. Yeah, I think John Dickert has
Oh, you mean the
all
current
of
mayor?
current
Okay,
mayor.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, I don't believe these are any leftover from Gary Becker. I just, we just went through the funding process of the event center, and of course they talked about bonding and it was over $39 million or close to $40 million in bonding.
39.7, I think. Is
Now,
what
Robert Anderson ran for 2nd District alderman within the last, 2 years. And he ran, and I just pulled up one of the statements he made. Now, he again voted for this 39, or at least is in favor of an event center, which would take $39 million in bonding.
tax money,
Which
actually, the $39.7 million you're talking about bonding, when you pay it back, it comes out to roughly $65 million.
You're talking over 30 years. And
yeah.
And it also maxes out, if you want to call it city credit card, it maxes out the credit card. His statement, though, in being interviewed for an aldermanic position, he states the difficult challenge is to discipline in the budgeting for maintaining and improving the city's bond rating also helps keep taxpayers' costs down, which is important when money is needed for vital infrastructure projects. How are you voting for this event center?
I think they all voted for it.
They did.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. I heard him ask a couple of questions.
Well, apparently he thinks this is going to keep taxpayer costs down.
Well, and important on the bond rating. I mean, does he realize that we are maxing out the bonds at a huge rate? It's just, it's just important to understand. How did he get to that from this point to the point of...
Apparently he feels comfortable spending this money.
Again, a non-elected official, folks.
Yeah.
What you're saying is he's maintaining, improving the city's bond rating is important
To him.
To him, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we're going to max out our card, which is look like we're going to do, if we're going to bond another
Yeah.
$30-40 million, we're going to get close to it.
Yeah.
That's not going to improve our bond rating, and
No.
it's probably going to come down.
Right.
It's probably going to come down.
And
So
if
that's one.
If that goes down, then the interest goes up. Second up, we got John Crimmings, former president of N. Christensen & Son Real Estate in Racine. Well, a real estate guy. You would think he knows something about real estate and development. Joined the firm in '77 as a salesman, became president in '01 at First Weber. He's the general sales manager of the Racine office. Graduated from Marquette University in '75 with a BS degree in business administration. So you would expect that John has got some qualifications to deal with financial stuff.
Yeah, he might be he may be the only one I would actually feel comfortable on the RDA. I think he probably has some insight. He's going for this. I mean, if this was a real estate deal, John, would you be doing this one? I mean, really? I mean, this is again, I don't think that they have to take the blinders off and look around. And then, of course, again, unelected official that's spending this money.
Here's a good one for you, George. Jim Spangenberg. You know Jim?
I don't know him personally, but I know him as an alderman, and he was
He got a nice bio on him right here, if you want to.
Well, executive director. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Well, executive director Connolly explained to the authority that $100,000 was set aside in the city budget for the white box program. She stated the incentive would be provided to building and business owners to update the interiors of their building. All right, that's a government program,
and that was in the
There's-
RDA, which
Yeah.
James is a
When you say government, you mean local government. You're talking about
But this is-
Racine.
this is the local-
This is
yeah,
not
this is
coming
right.
from federal tax dollars or anything. Okay.
No, that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, mine too.
So at any rate, Ms. Connolly stated building and ongoing code issues are the intent of the City of Racine Redevelopment Authority. The interesting thing was that front in line here, and I don't have it on my sheet here, but Jim was top of the line to take advantage of this program.
He has
Right,
he has a business downtown. Is that correct?
well, no, it's in West Racine,
Oh, the old Johnson Furniture.
right? But
Yeah.
he's going to remodel the old Nelson dime store building, and the thing is here, there was a white box program initiated by the Redevelopment Authority. Again, the same one that's in
That he
favor.
sits on, and that he approved this program.
He approved it, and
Uh-huh.
now he's taking advantage of it.
How so?
Well, he's going to get $100,000 to remodel the old dime store building, and that was in the JT 612 of 17.
No. Wait a minute. 100,000 was set aside for the white box program. He's not going to get all of it.
Each one that applies has up to $100,000 worth of, yeah. No,
Really?
no, oh yeah, no, 100,000 each. So you apply, and you can get up to $100,000 for your interior work on a business project. They have facade grants, which means the exterior. There's 100,000. That's up to 20,000, depending if on multiple sides. But now there's 100,000 available for the interior of the building.
Well, that's a nice deal.
It is a
You
good
know?
deal, especially when you
Yeah.
can vote on it and get it.
Do we know how much is in that white box program?
I don't know how the total amount is, but I'm sure they're going to get.
Well, I wish I had an opportunity like that. I could vote to create a program.
Now I did a little more digging,
Uh-huh.
and there was a deposition done by Tom Tusis, who owns the BP gas station on the corner of Gould Street and Douglas Avenue. Now, in that deposition, and I'll put it online so you can read this section of it, or I'll put the whole deposition on. But it's interesting because basically what it said was in his deposition was that when Tom Tusis wanted to build a gas station in West Racine on that where the clinic is
The
now,
dialysis center
is.
Yeah.
If the folks remember back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he couldn't build it there because of the pipe was in there, and there was a million reasons why John Dickert wouldn't really allow him to build it. Now, that's really what it was. And the reason why, in this deposition, he talks about how Spangenberg was going to run for mayor at the same time, and it was a deal cut between Jim Spangenberg and Mayor Dickert. And if Jim didn't run, he would keep that gas station out of West Racine, which Jim Spangenberg wanted. And that's in this deposition. Now, I'll put it online, you can read it. But is there payback going on here? Who knows? But,
It looks like...
but I mean, there are elected officials that have, garnered some favors, it looks like.
yeah, it looks like he's doing okay, old Jim. Yeah.
So,
Next we move on to Jen Adamski-Torres. Now, she ran against Sandy Widener in the district aldermanic race. That was the last election for that particular district.
right,
And she's relatively new to the community,
yes.
ran for alderman.
Matter of fact, this is the gal that was the last show, and I'm going to throw it up here, where she threw the lobber.
Yeah, she threw the softball too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that was-
I mean, you can see where this is going. Now,
It's a question that basically amounted to, well, how wonderful is this project?
yeah.
Could you explain that in depth? I'm challenging you to tell me how wonderful it is.
Competition we're looking at from a regional standpoint for this type of space, just given the timing change with surrounding communities, what's going on where we might need to make some other considerations.
Anyway, it's no secret that Mayor Dickert prefers people who support his agenda. And it's unknown whether or not he recruited Adamski-Torres to run against Widener. But Alderman Widener is one of the few who occasionally stands up to Mayor Dickert and questions some of the things that he's doing and wants an explanation for some of his things. And we could speculate that maybe Adamski-Torres was preferable by the mayor to Alderman Widener because a lot of the rhetoric that she uses is noticeably similar to his.
And the mayor is well known for digging out aldermanic candidates
Right.
to
Yeah.
oppose
Right.
candidates in office that oppose him.
Well, he sets up a machine. You know, I mean, Daley did it in Chicago. He does it here. I
Well,
mean,
she
really.
didn't. She didn't win the aldermanic race, but
No, but she
she
sure
got
got a powerful
appointed
position.
to the
It's a
RDA.
powerful position.
It's not
Again.
somebody that you would expect a newcomer to the community to be in.
And the background is in. I'm not exactly sure that more marketing, I believe, than the financial background you would expect to have someone in development.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
if you're gonna get into redevelopment, you got to know something about fundamental economics
Yeah.
too. You know,
Right.
it's one thing, like John Crimmings, to understand real estate, making real estate deals. You know,
Right.
and it's location, things like that. But it's another thing to understand economics and how does certain types of businesses and certain types of activity in an area affect the area economically.
Correct.
All right. There's a social side.
And
of
the
it,
part
but
about
there's the
this,
economic
George, is
side of
that
it.
you know your community. I mean, what works, what doesn't work. I mean, you'll know what that is. I mean, if you've lived here long enough and you understand the basics of economics in your own community, and
Right.
that's what should be on this RDA. And this is not an RDA to actually push forward a project that's going to be beneficial to the entire community. This is pet projects that are basically for the mayor.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is basically a mayor's project.
Yeah.
And he's guiding people. And the Redevelopment Authority is the official flow of the activity to go through to bring forth something like an arena.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to come through finance and personnel. It's not going to come to licensing and welfare. It's going to come through the Redevelopment Authority. So the mayor has a project. He wants it to come through nicely, so he gets people that he likes that are going to support him onto that position.
Speaking of projects, the next member of the RDA is Greg Helding, former alderman, one-time candidate for mayor. He's been a persistent promoter of development projects. The Porter Project, that's the mulch field down there between 6th and 7th on Wisconsin Avenue. Machinery Row, that's the, I don't know what you would call that down there by the river. An environmental disaster? I mean, there's still asbestos down there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Or has it all blown into the river? Some of it got into the river.
It
I
did.
know that.
It did. So it's okay now.
Then there's the Delta Hawk stimulus plan, which is the aircraft engine company over on right on the edge of the airport, and they put $1.2 million worth of stimulus into that, and that place is going nowhere. We went over there one day, and a couple days actually, and the employee parking lot on a work day during a scheduled shift, day shift, scheduled shift. Hardly any cars in.
I think it was 3.
3 cars?
3 cars.
Yeah. One of them might have been broken down for all we know. But anyway, that's Greg. He's been in favor of all this stuff. During the discrimination suit that was mentioned earlier, where Tommy Tussis made a
Right,
deposition about
right.
Spangenberg, during that discrimination suit, some racist emails were uncovered in Mr. Helding's computer. So I know he's very fond of himself, and I don't think he's ever met a development project that he didn't like. So, here we go. Doug Nicholson V. Now, it's not that he's the fifth in the lineage. He's been dubbed Doug Nicholson V because during his deposition in that minority lawsuit, he pled the Fifth Amendment over 40 times during sworn deposition. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Fifth Amendment, most people know what it is, but basically it says that you are not required to give information that could incriminate you. So you plead the Fifth. If you're going to answer a question and your answer contains information that could lead to criminal prosecution of you, you have the right to remain silent. So he did that 45 times. Would seem to indicate that maybe he was concerned about some criminal activity he may have been involved in. Now, if you plead the Fifth Amendment and you have no basic true purpose for doing that, if you don't have a real reason for pleading the Fifth Amendment, that's known as perjury. So I don't know. Doug is skating on thin ice here, but he's also on the ethics board.
That's what I was going to mention.
Yeah.
The ethics. It fits Racine. I mean, like
Yeah. And Doug has done well with facade grants, too.
he has done well with facade grants. Yes, he has.
Yeah.
And he's on the Redevelopment Authority, which again, it's such a close knit group that is able to dictate a tremendous amount of money within the community, and it really zeroes in on a lot of downtown activity, which leaves out a lot of the other parts of the community, which we bring up from time to time. There's other places money can be spent. It doesn't all have to go downtown, and it certainly doesn't have to go with this event center, which is actually going to suck up it's almost like a poker game. Last poker hand of the night, and we're pushing it all in. And I just hope we can pull this one off tonight, baby. And that's really where we're at with that event center.
I'm sitting on a pair of deuces, ace high, but
I know it's going to come one of these times. But I think we're missing one here, isn't it?
No, we got a couple more.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, there's a couple more here yet.
But yeah, I mean, you can see how they all kind of tie in together. I mean, it's all.
Well, one thing I wanted to say too about this IG fund, the money being put into the arena is not only the current one. They're mortgaging or they're committing $800,000 a year, which is close to half of it for the next 15 for the duration of life of the fund.
Right.
So it's not only we're spending for what we've got, we're spending the future money. And you talk about the all-in thing. That it's all in, not just what you got, but it's what we're going to get too.
Right.
Yeah. Or a lot of it.
We're spending. Yeah, we're spending the lottery winnings from the future here.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I've been out in the community talking with people, and this particular subject comes up, they say, "Well, there's a lot of things that we could spend that money on." I said, "What money?"
Yeah, really.
There is no money that they're spending on this. It's not like you have $10 in your pocket and you want to decide, should I buy a meal or should I make a down payment on a pair of sneakers? It's not like that at all. You don't have the $10. They're spending debt.
Right.
So that's
one of the things that I knew was when it was going south, when they said, well, we're going to get cell towers on there, we could maybe get up to 3 and get some revenue from that. I'm thinking you're down to the point where you're actually getting cell tower money. I mean, on a $60 million arena. I mean, it's getting pretty thin. I mean, that was one of their avenues to collect.
Well, and parking
revenue.
Meter money, they were going for that.
Wow. I mean,
naming rights.
It's gotten
naming
bizarre.
rights is the one I like.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going down there.
What was it? $250,000 or something like that?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I think talking Racine, if they don't build the arena, I think we just take our sign, we hang it on the chain link.
Oh,
fence.
absolutely, yeah.
I think we should get some naming rights down there.
What do you think it's worth? $10?
Yeah, but being back to the committee, the point is this is not what we would call really wise financial planning for redevelopment funds. I mean, this is particularly for the type of project that this is. It's an arena, folks. It's a place where amateurs are going to come in and play, and they're expecting something like that to rebuild the.
George, they don't even have a hotel.
The city.
They don't have a hotel. They even talked about just building the box, so hopefully it can, lure a hotel.
Well, let's not be negligent in our primary purpose here, which is to introduce everybody to the Redevelopment Authority.
But these are the people that are making the plans for our future.
We have one more. We have one more person. We don't want to leave her out because we know Tracy. This is Tracy Laren, first-term alderperson for the 4th District, works in a local deli and sandwich shop. I mean, Tracy's friendly, she's courteous, and she's never made change incorrectly when I've bought a sandwich there. And I don't know what else she's got going to qualify her to make decisions or partake in decisions that involve tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money, but we like Tracy and she's on the board and we got to mention her too. So
she is the one elected.
Right? Yeah, she's the one alderperson.
All the rest of the people on there are appointed by the mayor. And she was appointed by the mayor, but she was first elected by the people to become an alderman.
Yeah,
and then that is her position.
But she seems to have a loyalty to Mayor Dickert. So
yeah, that unfortunately seems to be the case, and there's nothing wrong with particularly being loyal to the mayor, but her first loyalty should be to her constituents and to the city. In a position like this, it should be finances.
All those aldermen
should be discussing finances.
So there they are, the Redevelopment Authority, the people who have access to and discretion over the spending of tens of millions of dollars. we hope you feel comfortable now that you've met them. And if you meet them on the street, say hello. Maybe you have a few questions to ask them. What do you think, guys? Is that about it?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, let's say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye out there. We'll
Good
see you
night.
soon.